as it turns out, Semenyo is actually available. His release clause is available. £65 million available from January 1st. First one to trigger. Can be anybody. And it's available. I think it doesn't say the specific dates, but January, it does happen at a certain time in January. Is that good news for Tottenham? Bad news for Tottenham? Is there any chance at all, given that other clubs have got bits and pieces they need to prioritise ahead of a left winger? Liverpool, surely they might be the favourites for the guy's signature, but they've got to get themselves figured out with their defence. Arsenal have to probably sell a left winger before they can bring one in. Chelsea have already got all the wingers in the game. Is there any chance that if Tottenham Hotspur can get a sniff of when that particular day is that clause comes along, is there any chance that this news that Semenyo is out there, that Tottenham Hotspur could find a way to get this guy in? Dan, I'll start with you.
The Garner brothers? The Garner brothers?
The Garner brothers, yeah.
Potential. Maybe Kudus can turn around and say, look, come here, bro. This is the place for you to hang out. I mean, I'm really clutching at straws.
And they're not in Ghana's not in the African Cup of Nations. They didn't qualify, so
I'm clutching at straws, let's be honest, right? But that's my only hope, that they have some sort of deep connection, that they'd love to play with each other, one on one wing and one on the other. I mean, that's a real long shot. What are you guys thinking?
It depends who else goes in for him. It depends who else wants him. It depends who else needs him. If we put the money down, right, job part done, we get to speak, then we get to speak to him. It's whether he wants to come to us or not then. And it also depends who else is going to go for him. If they do go for him, who knows? No one else might go for him. You just don't know. That's the thing. He might not want to come to us. He might want to come to us. If there's no other club there and he wants out, and we're the one that gives him the offer, I don't see why we can't get him. But obviously,
would you make it the club's highest earner to get it done?
And we've also got to put the money on the table to get him. It all adds up. If you don't do one, you don't get the other. It all works up together. I mean, you can get the player to want to come to you. You can get him pay his wages. You can get his contract. But if you don't pay the club, you're not getting him. So it's all got to work out together. So we've got to be willing to put the money down to be able to try and get the rest sorted out. Would we make him the highest earner? This is the chance where the club has got, it can, as long as no other big club comes in for him, we can put it on the table and say, right, Tottenham mean business now. We put it on the table, put the wages down, everything. Unless someone else steps in for him, I can't see why we can't get him. If we do everything and then say, for instance, Liverpool come in and take him, you'll have a lot of fans sitting there saying, do you know what? We pretty much had it on a plate, but it's Liverpool. We're not going to win that one. But if no one else really goes in for him, as long as we're willing to pay the wages and put the money on the table, I can't see why we don't get him. Liverpool, they need defence more. I think I agree with you. Arsenal, looks like they need to sell up a bit before they buy. Yeah. Who else would go for him? Would Chelsea go for him? I don't think they need him. Would City go for him? I don't think they need him. Arsenal, I think they're close to their limit on what they've spent. Liverpool, I think they definitely need to sort out their defence more. Would Newcastle go for him? I don't think Newcastle need him.
No.
I don't see why not. As long as we put the money on the table, trigger that thing, and then we get to talk to him, if we can get his wages down and everything, I don't see why not. It could work. If you don't try, you don't get.
Would he be your number one choice, Dan, of all the wingers?
I don't see there being many options at the moment. There's ones abroad you can go for, but I think the reason I would go for him is because of Premiership experience. We're already seeing the problem with Savi at the moment. You can blatantly see he's taking time to settle in, basically. I'd rather go for the player that has already been there, done it, got the storybook in the league sort of thing.
100%.
I think with Savi, you're already seeing the problems where he's coming to a different league. He's needing time to adapt, time for this, time for that. In that aspect, I think I'd rather go for someone who's already been in the league and done it. So yeah. I don't see why not. Of 65 million, I don't think you're really going to get a much better option than that.
No, I agree. Listen, you've got to have a go. If you don't buy a ticket, you don't go to the party. So have a go, see what you can do, get straight in, and see if you can buy. You're right. Arsenal got Arsenal need to sell first, Dan. Newcastle have got Murphy, Alanga, Barnes, Gordon. United might be. You could think with them possibly, but they've got Ahmad and Wemo. Liverpool got plenty. Liverpool do need a defence. It's there. It is. It's a decent possibility.
And he'd be your
And
number
he
one.
also walks into the team.
100% my number one. No question.
He also walks into the team, doesn't he?
Absolutely.
Anyone walks into that team.
I know, but that's where different players have a different mentality, whereas quite a few people seem to think that all players think alike. Well, believe it or not everyone repeats the person and has the same opinion as them and is the same way. Certain players will go to a club purely because they offer more money. Certain players are lazier than others and will go to a club because they can just walk into that team. Certain players will want to go to a club where they have to fight to get in the team and want to win stuff and whatever. Players are different. And a player might even look at it and say, well, I walk into that team. They look like they're getting their act together. Like the club wants to take a step forward now from Levy. Maybe he would do it for that. You just don't know. We don't know him. He might be more interested in money than cups. He might be more interested than leagues. He might be more interested in this and that. This is where it comes down to it. If you don't try, you don't know what's going to happen.
It's a Semenyo, a Rafael, Nico Williams sort of alternative. Are they sort of around the same sort of
level?
Would you say?
I think Semenyo is consistent as hell. I know he had a couple of bad games playing off the right hand side at City, for example, when Bournemouth went up there. But I think Semenyo is super consistent, and I think he's a bigger physical profile. I think he fits that trend that's emerging or has already become an ever-present part of the Premier League. You look at certain other players that are out there, like a Malik Fofana, those sorts of guys that are tricky and awesome and look the part and can do the razzle dazzle. But are they going to be able to handle the physicality, which is becoming an ever part of the conversation, Johnny?
Yeah, I mean, look, just because I'm going to have to go in a second, but when you look at Eze, when he was at Crystal Palace, he got the ball every single time because he was getting the ball. He was the main guy. He's gone to Arsenal. He's competing with like 5, 6, 7 other players who want the ball. It's much harder. Semenyo at Bournemouth gets given the ball consistently, a bit like our Kudos. When we got all the players back, maybe he wouldn't see so much of the ball, but he would definitely be an influence, unlike Eze at Arsenal, who's competing against bundles of talent. We don't have anyone. He would instantly come into our team and actually change the game on that side.
Yeah. And that can actually have a pull on a player as well, can't it? That he doesn't have to fight 5 other players, 4 other players for that place. Some people seem to think that doesn't go through any player's head. Well, of course, there's some players that go through his head. Some people are lazier than other people. He might just sit there and think, you know what? I'll walk straight into that team, piece of piss. I don't even have to do much training, and I'm in there. Can I be bothered to go to Arsenal and fight A, B, C, D for this place week in, week out? No, I can't. And you just don't know how people think. And I think there's a lot more mercenaries out there than people realise. To some people, to some players, more than we might see, this is nothing but a job. Everyone seems to think that players only play football because they adore and love football. No, there's plenty of players in there that really couldn't care less about football and look on it as a job and just know it's a well-paid job as well. That's why
Benny
some go for
Wyndham one, wouldn't he?
And they'll also, Dan, you're right. They'll also be looking at Eze thinking, do you know what? How many games? He hasn't played that many games. And how many of those games would he have played if Odegaard hadn't been injured? So, he might have been coming on for 20 minutes at a time as sub. So,
Stel, let me ask you this other side of the coin, right? I think Dan makes a good point about walking into the team. There's 2 elements I've got with the Semenyo story. Outside, Johnny, have you got to go, mate? Quickly, you got to jump, have you?
Guys, yeah, got to go. Thanks very much, guys. Everyone in the chat, have a great evening, and do stay and listen to these guys chat. See you soon, guys. See you.
See you later, Johnny.
See you.
Stel, So there's 2 parts to this thing, right? In terms of the minutes thing, how important are minutes? How important is the easiness of getting the ease of access? And there's obviously a player out there that people have been laughing at me for months saying it's ridiculous, it's ludicrous, it's never going to happen. And that's, of course, Rodrigo, who is a player at Real Madrid who's desperate for minutes ahead of the World Cup, who does play in that same position. And the other part of the equation, in terms of throwing all your eggs into the basket, I'm not saying let's not have a go, but of course we don't want a repeat of what happened with Eze, right? And the fact that Eze is an Arsenal fan sort of strung us along a little bit. Who was at fault for that? Whatever. But at the end of the day, we don't want that to happen with Semenyo, right? If we were to go and think and spend all January, let's say that clause thing is triggerable on the 1st of January, we trigger it, we go into conversations with Semenyo, and he's like, yeah, I'll come and have a conversation, let me think about it, and it chews up our January, and then towards the tail end, he suddenly signs for Arsenal. Is there a concern about going all in for a player that probably isn't thinking of Tottenham as the top of their priority list?
There's a concern listening to these journalists who are absolute fraudsters. I won't mention any names, but the fraudulence that we are dished out year after year, and people lap it up. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm sick to death of these journalists just stealing a career by saying, oh, yeah, he's gettable. Oh, yeah, Spurs fans, get yourselves all giddy. Go on, hype yourselves up because you might get this player. It's an absolute scam, man. And then you've got YouTubers and podcasters who jump on it and milk it and get special guests on. Special guests. Yeah, we got this exciting journalist, or we got this in-the-know guy, and they just waffle for an hour, then we don't get the player. What needs to happen is they need to come back on and explain everything they said, why it was all wrong, every time they get it wrong, because then they wouldn't be journalists or ITKs anymore. But they don't do that. They just go again the next window. Everyone's like, oh, you know that guy that got it wrong for 3 years in a row? Let's get him on and ask him what he thinks, and we'll go with that, shall we? It's an absolute scam, man. The whole thing's a scam.
Hey, listen. If you're looking for someone to get on board your line of thinking, it ain't me, mate. My best videos are unbelievable updates. Spurs about to sign Rodrigo.
We were going to get Tony. We were going to get Neto. We were going to get Eze. We were going to sign João Pedro. We were going to sign. It's bonkers, man. It's ridiculous, and people just milk it. And you know what? This is why I think a lot of Spurs fans get upset as well, because we're built up to think something that actually isn't. It's not really going to happen. Look, if we get Semenyo, it would be an absolutely fantastic signing for Tottenham. No question of a doubt. Premier League proven, gets goals, creates goals. He's a complete different level of player to anything we've got on the wings other than Kudus. Massive signing for a club of our stature. Okay? Will we get him? I will be absolutely gobsmacked if no other club is looking at him, and those clubs are bigger than us with more pull factor and more financial clout to pay higher wages than us. So I love the idea of him coming to us, but it would be such a coup if we got him. Just like Eze, that would have been a big coup for us. If no one else was looking at Eze, well, Arsenal were looking at him the whole time. And in the end, it turns out they were just waiting until they felt like getting him, and they flicked a switch and they got him. And I think the same might happen with Semenyo. So look, but if you're not in it, you can't win it. So I would like a situation where this new corporate structure we've got now, we're doing things differently, apparently. Speak to him now. Well, we're going to find out, right? This is what I'm told. I would like us to speak to his agent now, speak to Bournemouth, whatever the correct procedure is, speak to the relevant parties, line it up so that the player 100% says yes or no. And at the beginning of the window, job done. I don't want all the journalists milking a career and all the ITKs stealing a living, rinsing us for the whole of January, only to be disappointed at the end. If we're serious, that's your guy. You've got 2 months. Sort it out. Bring the player in so it's all lined up. What we don't want is to be in a situation. What happens, guys? What happens if it's not done by the beginning of January and Doku gets an injury for 4 months and Man City in a title race? Pep's going to say, go get me that guy from Bournemouth because we're in a title race, and they will get it done. What happens if Eze gets injured? What happens if one of the big clubs around us has a serious injury to a key player? Suddenly, without thinking we're in a transfer battle, we are. So we need to do the business now so that we can sign the contract as the window begins and avoid any possible obstacles that can be thrown at us that we're not expecting. And
so without Levy then still?
I don't think we'll get him. I don't think we will, because I think other clubs will be looking at him and we aren't necessarily the number one choice.
So without Levy then, do you think we got more chance of getting him in the aspect of instead of messing about with 5 million here, 5 million there, trying to prolong out the pavement and trying to save 2 million here and there? If we just speak to him, say, right, there's the money we're offering you. Right, club, bang, there's your money on the table as well. Let's get this deal sorted, or try and get this deal sorted if possible. Levy was a big problem in pissballing about with the money for too long, which cost us several players, didn't it? I mean, if a bigger club comes in and something happens with City, then you can just say, well, baked potato, see you later. He's going to go City. We know that. But what you're basically saying is get it done now, get everything sorted so we know where we stand at the start of January. Yeah. So if there is a chance of doing it, sort out what you're going to pay him what he wants him, put the money on the table.
You know,
that's why I think they'll say try and do this before.
Guaranteed him 200 grand a week. Let's go and speak to Liverpool. Yeah, they'll pay him 200 grand a week as well.
They'll do that with everything, wouldn't they? They'll do that with every player.
Yeah, but we don't want to be in but at the same time, Sean, we don't want to be in a situation where we don't make a move, we don't try and force the issue early doors, and then we end up not getting Gibbs White, not getting Eze, right? Just get Xavi Simons. Just go get him. Is that what we really, really wanted? Is it? You know, we don't want to be in a situation where we end up chasing our tails and we end up with not a bad player, but not really the one we wanted. We don't want to do that again, because Frank's the one that's going to have to deal with that shit. You know?
I mean, basically, put it down, get everything sorted just before it comes up to January. Right, is this going to happen or not? And then if it don't happen within, let's say, the first 4 days of the transfer window, right, stuff it. We go for number 2 on the list, basically, because you've got to have a list there. You can't just have that one player there you want. Surely you're meant to have a list of 3 that are more than capable of coming in and doing the job. Obviously, your number 1 is who you want as such, isn't it? But have it sorted, everything there, right. And if you don't come to us in the first 3-4 days, right, out the window, we go for the next one. Instead of trying to make it happen, prolong it happen, trying to save a bit of money, or just hoping that it goes on. Right, there's the deal, there's the money, here's everything sorted. You got 3 days to sign that contract, 4 days to sign that contract in January. If not, right, bollocks, go for the next one.
I agree. I'm just not sure if that's the way it necessarily. I think that it's a moving piece. It's like the jigsaw is constantly fluctuating, and I think that you can definitely go about trying to nurture the relationship. I'm sure those conversations are being had anyway. I'm sure Paratici's out there schmoozing, whining and dining. I'm sure half his job is buying a bottle of rouge for this and that, like to try and get the thing done at the time. But ultimately, agents' jobs are not there to placate the football clubs and make their life easy. He's there to make sure he gets the best deal, and he'll use any information that's available to him to spin those, to spin those plates. Right?
That's why I said, right, you sort it out, put it all down. You've got 3 days, 4 days in January to sign it. If not, we forget about it and go for the next one. Instead of letting them do that and having to fight all the way through it, of course they're going to do that, Sean. I get that. And try and get more for the player or bigger club. But that's why you give them a set date. You basically say, right, you've got 4 days to sign this, or we're off.
But
and that gives us time.
Dan, if they're talking to say 3 or 4, this will be realistic. If they've got 3 or 4 targets in Jan for the left wing position, and they're speaking to all of them, they should know before January the 1st which is going to be the easiest transfer, which player wants to come to Spurs, and it's then up to the club to take control if they've got a situation where one player rather than the others wants to come to Spurs and the others are like, oh, I'm not sure, they're gonna, the agents sort of put the club in the pending file, we'll come back to you sort of thing. It's up to the club. They either wait or they go for the player that they.
What about what the manager wants?
Choice. Sorry,
what about what the manager wants?
Well, I'm sure if Paratici's looking at 3 or 4 players, I'm sure he's probably gone through 6 or 7 with Frank, and Frank said, yeah, I like him, I don't like him, etc., and run through the list.
Oh, yeah. So we end up with Timo Werner, right?
Well, no. Well, listen. We thank
This is the
God.
thing, though. You do have to be. You have to consider what Thomas Frank wants, but
That's
you
right.
also have to be very much aware of the fact that I don't want to make this. I don't want to take this. We can steer down this road if you want to, but if Thomas Frank continues to play the football that he's playing, whether he's got those players or otherwise, because let's be honest, January one additional player into that squad is not going to be enough to satisfy the urges of the fans that are defending the state of the football that we're seeing and saying he can't do any more with the players he has. One additional player doesn't revolutionise what we can do. And if he carries on playing the way that he's playing at home, Tottenham fans won't tolerate it. I do not believe that Tottenham fans will tolerate that football for the rest of the season until the summer. And so my point being that, yes, you have to consider what Thomas Frank wants. Of course you do. But you also have to be very wary and very conscious of the fact that the reality is most managers in today's football will come in and the next manager will come in and the one after that will come in before that one player has finished his 5-year contract. Most players that come in are not being bought just for that manager because they're going to see 3 managers in that contract time.
But I think we get one quality player. We get one quality player. We only get one in January. We obviously need more than that. But if we get, say we get Semenyo in January, just example, and that's all we get, and the rest of the season just plays like it is at the moment, pretty much shabby, haven't got the right team to play a certain formation, or it's still going to keep a certain amount of fans quiet until the next transfer window because it looked like we meant business there. Let's see how it goes in the summer. No, there's going to be a lot of fans also sitting there saying, well, we needed more than this, we want more than that, we want this, we want this, we want that. But I think it will also keep a significant amount of fans quiet until the summer transfer window because we actually went out and bought a quality player.
You think one player in January will satisfy the urges?
Not the whole team. I'm saying one quality player in will keep a significant amount of the fan base quiet. It won't necessarily keep us 4 quiet or supporters like us, others quiet. But a certain amount of supporters, and I think quite a high amount of Spurs supporters,
I wouldn't disagree.
Because Spurs supporters are quite easily satisfied at times. We've seen that. We saw that last season. Temporarily until summer. Okay, we let this shit go on.
And they're easily quality player.
You mean this? Oh, that as well, without a doubt. That's why we're one of the most unique fan bases out there, isn't it? And it'll keep a significant amount quiet until January. And if they go and buy another one in January, I think you'll have a majority happy that we at least look like we mean business as such. No, we need more than one. We all knew that. But it will keep a significant amount happy, I think.
Why would you come to Spurs if you're Semenyo? Why would you honestly come, right? Every club's looking at you. Everyone knows you are really, really good. And you are Premier League proof. Look, like Eze, everyone knows you're good. Everyone knows you can influence a game. Are you going to come to Spurs, who are in project number 26, rebuild of the project for the project that wasn't the project, and quite a few mediocre players? I'll go to them. The only real pull factor is they're in the Champions League and the wages should be more than what I got paid at Bournemouth. Or do you go to Arsenal where I'm going to get really good wages? We're one of the favourites to win the Champions League. We are the favourites to win the league, and we probably will win a domestic cup. You look at that, you compare it to us. All it needs is one club that can offer that, and that's it. We're not getting
but that's okay still. That's okay because I believe that for me personally, there's probably 6 left wingers out there that are probably somewhere in the ballpark of available for the right money that would immediately improve us. And even if there are 2 or 3 different teams in the Premier League that they're higher in the sort of pecking order of draw that want left wingers as well, I don't mind if those 3 go to other places. That I'll still take the 4th, 5th, or 6th. I'll take Lilywhite. I'll take Fofana. I'll take Semenyo. I'll take Rodrigo. I'll take Lookman, and I'll take the geezer Yildiz. Go and get one. Go and get one of them. I don't care which one it is. Any one of them.
I agree. 100%. I agree with you. But because we're just talking specifically about Semenyo, I think Rodrigo, Semenyo are 2 players. I don't think any Spurs fan should get any form of excitement thinking that they're going to be in a Spurs shirt. If it happens, wow, right? Yeah. Just wow.
Exactly.
Let's just pretend they're not coming to Spurs because that's most likely what's going to happen. And the other players you listed are more likely the ones that will come to Spurs because we're not going to have much competition to get them to Spurs.
Well, no, I think that, listen, I think that Rodrigo personally, like we were saying earlier, like Semenyo, Semenyo might not, might pick his boyhood club or he might pick Liverpool, whatever. That's fine. He's obviously the desirable one because he's Prem proven. I do think that Rodrigo is looking around, looking at the amount of quality players that are really kicking goals this year that wouldn't otherwise normally be a consideration for the Brazil team. Not necessarily in his position, but in that forward line, they've only got probably 7 or 8 spots they can cater for. People like Igor Thiago are probably putting their name above the parapet. People like João Pedro certainly plays on his position. There's lots and lots of players. Semenyo, there's loads of players that are trying to kind of force the hand of Ancelotti, and I think that Rodrigo's looking at that, thinking, I'm probably going to get a space in the squad, but am I going to start? I haven't played any minutes. He's played 75 minutes all season, or like 90 minutes all season, over 12 games, most of them 3 minutes here, 5 minutes there. If I'm him, and then he doesn't want to have to sign up to Tottenham, he doesn't want to say, oh, yeah, I'll get on board Tottenham Hotspur for 5 years. I can completely understand that. But a 6-month loan deal? And if it is that, with the only purpose of making sure he gets enough minutes to be able to play, to be able to get his name in make sure he's top of mind of Ancelotti, is he going to get as many minutes at Arsenal as he is at Tottenham? No. Is he going to get as many minutes at Liverpool as he is at Tottenham? No. Is he going to play in the Champions League at Tottenham? Yes. Is he going to be there or thereabouts in a sort of top 5, top 6 race? Probably, hopefully. Like, for me, the Rodrigo story as a loan, I don't see why it doesn't make sense.
And if you bring in Rodrigo and you've got Mwani fit and firing, the whole thing looks very different. Look very different from where we are now.
I think the most realistic one.
Mwani shit. He's back on it again.
I think the most realistic one is.
I swear to God, honestly, he's scored no goals for this club. If we can get him firing, when's he going to fire? When's he actually going to fire?
Oh, still, you're so toxic, man. It's unreal. But I think our most realistic
0 goals,
one,
Dan. Our striker has scored 0 goals. Our striker,
you're toxic. Still, you're toxic negative. Even though Levy's changed, you ain't changed. Stay out of it. When it comes to it,
hasn't changed either. He's still shit.
Only time will tell on that one. He's looked good on the ball, nothing more at the minute.
He's not going to play for Spurs again. He'll be out for about 3-4 months. We won't renew his contract. He'll be gone.
I mean, if he's broke his jaw, he's going to be out for a while. And I do say, if it's only a hairline fracture, then there's all he's got to do is eat soup for a couple of weeks. A hairline fracture on the jaw, unless you've got it right there, is a minor, basically. Unless
Can you tell our medical team, please, Dan? Can you go tell the medical team?
There's worse things that can happen than that, basically. I think the one that more realistic that we go for, and I think it is Lookman. I think it's the more realistic one to look at. Yes, Semenyo, I'd love to do it. Can I think it can happen? Anything can happen. Do I think it will happen?
You called me toxic. Aren't you worried that Lookman's toxic? Aren't you worried that he's actually toxic?
Well, his reputation isn't great for his personality and that, but I'm more bothered about what he does on the pitch. As long as he gets the job done on the pitch, I really couldn't give a toss what he gets up to off the pitch. I couldn't care less. Like I've said with other things, I don't care what players want to do in their lives. I don't care if they want to be, as long as they play football, they can be a bloody unicorn off the pitch for all I care. As long as they play the football, that's all I care about. But then I ain't the manager. I think Lookman is a more realistic option for us. Semenyo is going to have a lot more different teams interested in him. Are they going to go for him? Is that going to happen? Is that going to happen? If we could all predict the future, then I'd already be a lottery winner 3 times over. But I do think Lookman is the more realistic out of the two.
I think we'll pick up someone in January. I'm confident. Spurs. I've heard Spurs.
Someone.
Spurs are going after a left winger. Let's see who they get. They'll get someone still. Believe. Have faith, mate.
No, I believe we will get someone as well. I believe someone. Yeah.
Just not a top draw player.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Until I see it, I can't talk about it. I'm not going to do this ITK journalist, speculation growth. I can't do it. We get burnt every window doing this.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, though. Go on, Lubo.
In terms of the level of footballer, guys, Kudus and Polina have been probably our best two, apart from Mickey, our best 2 players this season. Are you happy with players of that level?
Of course.
Yeah, and
We were all-
Xavi Simmons is a
all
baller, by
happy.
the way. He's taken a bit of time to settle, but he is a top player.
Yeah.
Top player.
And Moani will be as well.
Moani would have been a top player, I think. Yeah, I know.
Listen. Because he chested the ball and he laid it off against Copenhagen, the amazing Copenhagen. He's the man.
It's
He's the
funny.
man.
It's funny. You know, still, somebody who was it who bought Moani for 90 million euros?
PSG. Yeah.
PSG. I mean, you know, you got to. So are you saying, you know, these guys?
Fuck me. Eric Dyer went to Bayern Munich and what?
For what?
And played and this. He put Kim Min Jae out of the team and lifted a trophy. I mean, everyone needs to put some respect on Eric Dyer's name just quietly.
Bring back Eric. Bring back Super Eric. Bring him back. I want Eric back.
Still, these guys at PSG who have probably got the best team in the world, they're no fools. They're not idiots. They know a player. They haven't spent.
Do they really all the time? No, Ian.
They haven't spent 90 million euros because the geezer's hopeless. Come on,
mate. PSG.
No, what they did was spend that money because they can do it.
They spent 200 million on Neymar. It's mental. Absolutely,
you know what I mean?
mental.
They will go and spend that money and not care about it and get it right half the time and not care about getting it wrong half the time because they can do it. What's 90 million to that lot?
Was Moani in the Champions
money,
League
basically?
Squad, was he in the Champions League winning squad?
No.
he was at Juve last season.
It's at Juve.
Right,
Yes,
so
it's
yeah, you're right.
last
Then
season.
PSG do know what they're doing. You're right. They do know what they're doing.
We shall see.
By the way, just quietly, Moani was back in the French squad right before he broke his jaw, and just a little word. Wilson Odobert is going to get called up for the World Cup squad, according to all reports. So I don't know. My winger, my Odobert.
No. Sorry, mate. My Odobert. You came. My chairman. Let me also hang on. Let me also say, I'm sure I saw in our WhatsApp group Sean Butler leave me out. I'm sure I saw that today, didn't I?
Well, I can't hear you, mate. All I can hear.
My chairman.
I was going to say, Ian, you can't have Odobert as well. You've already got Gray in you. I mean, fucking hell.
Listen,
Seriously?
Because we got Richie and Solanke as the front two, and the only other option is two kids, Scarlett or Lancashire. Anyone that came in with any form of minor pedigree, people were going to jump on the back of because it just wasn't Richie or Solanke. So that's what's happened with Moani. He's nowhere near the caliber of striker this club's used to.
Just saying, I mean, Matisse Teller scored 2 more goals this season than a 90 million euro striker. So, you know, some of you guys need to put some respect on my Matisse Teller as well.
And he scored tonight.
I like Moani as a player.
He scored tonight, by the way. By the way, Stel, Jamie Donnelly scored tonight for Northern Ireland.
Bring him back.
Absolutely, bring him back.
Can we, joking aside quickly, have you seen all of the people in the Irish part of the fan base, the Irish contingent today, are all saying that letting Troy Parrott go for £7 million was the worst decision that Daniel Levy has made in the history of Daniel Levy's decisions? How do we feel about that one? Should we bring him back as well? I think we've got a 20% sell-on fee on the man.
Troy Parrott or Richarlison?
Fuck, Troy Parrott for me.
Every time.
Troy Parrott, I think.
There's your answer. Can I say, for the record, and I have to keep repeating myself, I think Moani's a good player. I think we should play him as a left inverted attacker. As the sole striker, I don't get it.
Last week you were saying we should be continuing with Odobert as the left winger.
Yeah, I know. If we have to stick with one player, I think we should stick with Odobert. But if you're going to play Moani, I think his best position is the left inverted left winger that inverts. That's where I think Moani would be best suited.
Yeah, I think
so.
Left inside forwards for me are the most. This is the most oversaturated part in football. That's why I think that there's so many players out there. It's an area that Tottenham have got money to spend on, wage cap space, and there are a lot of talented players that play with an inverted right foot off the left-hand side. Yes, Colomwani could have been one of them if he wasn't, but we can't rely on him. Obviously, he's been injured. He will be out until February. So we have to go and get someone. Dan, I think you're right, Dan. I think that Ademola Lookman is probably the most likely, but there are a lot of other players out there that can do that job. And I think that Tottenham... Let me ask you guys this, right? I know Dan, you suggested that you think a not insignificant amount of the fan base will be